My 6-year-old was staring at me the other day, and my initial reaction was like, what's wrong? Why are you looking at me like that? And he goes, nothing. I just love staring at your face. And I will never recover from that moment.
In part two, let's find out who these boy moms really are. Because behind the camera and the non-humorous statements like, my son is my king, there is something much deeper at play, I think. When we scratch the surface and get underneath it a little bit, it's less about parenting styles and parenting stories, and more about dark psychology, dysfunctional parenting dynamics, and negative outcomes when the father role is missing. Listen, a lot of the women who lean into boy mom culture aren't just laughing about dirty socks or stepping on Legos in the middle of the night. They're filling a vacuum of unmet social and romantic needs. Yep, this is the exact same stuff that Freud warned us about 100 years ago. In homes where the dad is absent, inconsistent, or more likely, cut out, the mother is then left with no affection. Right? In part because no one wants to date them, but that's another topic for another day. So, at their own choosing, those single mothers are supposed to be the nurturers, protectors, the providers, the authority figures, all at the same time. And when there's no steady adult man in her or her child's life, her emotional bucket needs to get filled by someone. Too often, it lands on that son. That's where the line between child and partner gets developmentally dangerous, I think. We've heard their language, again, he's the man of the house, or no girl will ever be good enough for my boy. And to other women, it makes for a nice bumper sticker, but it's not healthy for him. What it's doing is positioning him as the stand-in for the husband that she likely tossed out and the boyfriend that she can't get. Psychologists have called this at times enmeshment or even emotional incest. I know, which sounds dirty, but kind of give it a little bit of thought, and I'm not terribly offline with my thinking in that term, emotional incest. This is an issue by which the child is expected to meet her emotional needs rather than the other way around. And it's not rare. After watching this video, go search YouTube or TikTok to better understand how prevalent it really is. Studies on father absence show that boys in these settings are more likely to act out, to maybe even develop entitlement, or to struggle with important boundaries and other social skills. Because when you're raised to be your mom's emotional partner, you never learn how to actually be a leader for grown women. You're stuck carrying guilt if you pull away and resentment if you stay too close. Now, let's bring this back to the social media layer just a little bit. TikTok and Instagram became the stage where this sickening dynamic gets broadcast and rewarded. A single mom posts a clip of her son opening doors for her or telling her that she's beautiful, and the comments just roll in. You're raising him right. He's going to make a great future husband. Great future husband goals. And that's not just validation for women. It's also a defense against being alone herself and for their destructive parenting. It's a way of them saying, I don't need no man. I got my boy. All along, every like and every share rewards the situation, turning what should be private coping into a public badge of misplaced heroism. Let me tell you that the women who gravitate toward boy mom life are not difficult to spot. They're often single or separated, with little or no involvement by the father in the home. They're online more than they're at soccer games. They've built their self-worth on being an intensive mom, a helicopter mom. It's the one who proclaims having sacrificed everything, who gives through her son because she doesn't have another adult around for a relationship or to anchor her. So that young boy becomes her proof that she's still valuable and needed. As I discussed earlier, research on enmeshment shows that boys caught in these dynamics have higher risks of externalizing problems, anger, acting out, aggression. And this is the part that women don't want to discuss or to take accountability for. Because it means admitting that the same women who post about raising strong men are sometimes the ones that are actually cutting them off at the knees before they even grow up. So yes, when it comes to why young men are soft, we cannot just blame culture, schools, or toxic masculinity campaigns. We need to look inside the home at the mother-son dynamic and ways in which a tossed-out father creates a space that gets filled with a woman's unresolved needs and their hunger for emotional validation, their needs that should never be dumped on the child in the first place. But what does this mean for today's young women who despise the lack of quality men on dating apps and in the wild? The answer to that is coming up in part 3.